The notice compiler allows you to create a notice and submit it to the newspaper right from your system. Now, before using the notice compiler, there are some items you'll need to get set up first. You'll want to build your own template and add your local newspapers. Once those are set, you're all set to go. Now, I'll give you an example of what this is going to work like. In the IMS, we'll open a record, go to Notices, and here you see we're in the notice compiler. Defaults to that. This is our first notice, so it's labeled as Notice 1. We're using the Mail Standard template. The photo we haven't attached to it yet. Font size that you see set at 100, you can up that to make it a lot easier to read. So we'll take this up to 150, and as you can see, much easier on the eyes. And we've already selected to use this as the obit on the web. But this is the obit that the system has put together using the template. And you can see that it has pulled the deceased name, and it has some information in here. It has pulled the date, the location, age, wife's name, son's name, and some other pertinent details. Now, how did the system do all this? Well, it came from the template that was built beforehand. Now, to show you how to build a template, we'll go to System Settings, and we'll go to Notice Compiler. And the Notice Compiler, once you're in here, it defaults to the template builder. And you can see right now we have everything is blank, and this is what your system is going to look like. It defaults to a new template. We do have some standard ones in here, and I'll actually show you the Mail Standard that was used to pull that obit that you just saw. Now, it looks a little funny in here, but we'll show you how to put it all together. So we're going to go to New Template, and we're going to call it Mail Standard 2. So the number one thing you probably want to start with is the deceased info. You click the plus sign to get the drop down, and we generally start with the last name. All you have to do is click on that, and you'll see it does pop in there. This is the puller for the last name. Click after it. You'll probably want to have a comma and then a space, and then you want first name. Put in that, put space, and middle name, and then a space, and then you'll want to write something in. And we'll put the first name and a space. And we type in the connectors here. You can see is survived by, and most likely we're going to go to the family information right now and get the spouse's name. The children's names. You always have to put a space after that, remember, because otherwise it's just going to be all connected together. We'll close the family information up. We'll go to the service information. We want the service place because we've put in service will be held at. Click service place. We've got the service time and the service date. And we'll also put in Now this is pretty basic. What we have set up, as you can see, is we'll have the last name of the deceased, the first and middle name, the statement that they passed peacefully with this family by his side, and then the first name survived by, we'll have the spouse's name and children's names. Service is going to be held at service location, at what time, and what date. And donations to family preferred charity will be greatly appreciated in lieu of flowers. So we're going to save that template. Now we'll go back to the record. And we're just going to refresh this. We'll go back to notices. And we'll click the drop down for the template. And you see we do have the new Mail Standard 2 now. We select that and you'll see that this has changed. I'll bump the size up again for you. The system has now pulled the name of the deceased and then passed peacefully with his family by his side. And he survived by Judith and son James. We probably could have added the son. And it's as easy as that to edit it. So you can set up the template to be as complex and complete as possible, or you can just get the basics in here so that when you actually do go to the obit section, the system will pull the pertinent information and then you can add or subtract items as needed until the family is happy with the obit that you've put together. Now the font size obviously helps if you're doing this with the family and they want to read through it to see what's here. That's perfect. Now this will, like I say, whatever, you can make this as detailed as you like in your template and keep adding items in there and filling it out. You'll probably play around with it for a bit for the first few times until you do have it nailed down to the way you like it. You'll see how the system is going to save you a lot of time, that it'll actually generate the main part of your obit. You'll do a slight edit to it if needed, and then it's saved and done. A great time saver for you. So we're going to keep this as it is and we'll just save that. And you'll see the notice is saved down here in the corner. Now, the next thing is newspaper insertions. Before you can actually do that, we're going to have to go back to System Settings, and I'll show you how to select your newspapers. We have here the newspaper master list. You can click on that. You select either country. We're in Canada, obviously, so you click the plus sign to get the drop down. And then I go down to my province and I click the plus sign again. And you'll see we have all the cities listed here with all the newspapers in here. So we're in Kingston, we'll click the plus sign. And here are newspapers that I'm already subscribed to. But if I wanted to subscribe to another newspaper, Kingston This Week, I want to get the Kingston Whig Standard as well. I just click on that and then I click subscribe up here in the upper right corner. I'm now subscribed to that newspaper. So you'll do this for all the newspapers that you use. Okay? Just make sure that you subscribe to all that you need. So next we go to newspaper subscriptions. And I go to Canada, I go to Ontario, and you'll see that it has the ones I've already subscribed to. That's all it's going to show me, not the list of everything, just only newspapers that I have subscribed to. So I click on Kingston once again. If by chance there's a newspaper that's not in the system, or that has just come up new, or somehow got overlooked, you can add a newspaper. You simply click the Add in the upper right hand corner. You would fill in all the details such as the newspaper name, their address, what city they're located in is required, what their rates are in the way of a flat rate, number of lines per submission, if they have an extra line rate. You fill in all these details, contact name, you're going to need an email address as well so that when you do submit this, somebody's going to receive it. So you can add in newspapers that may not be in the system at the moment. So you can see, you go to the newspaper master list, select the newspapers you want to subscribe to, then you go to your newspaper subscriptions, and it has all the information there. You can add or delete these from here. We also provide you with a copyright message. I'm going to show you the copyright message in a moment, but if you want it to go with every email you send, stating that the obit you have supplied is copyrighted, you would just check this. Okay, and save that. Now, we'll go back to our record. And when we're ready to submit this to a newspaper, we click on the newspaper insertions. And this will show you the notice that we put together from the template. It's pretty basic at the moment. But we want to select the newspapers we're going to send it to. So you click on Add Newspaper Subscription. We have to select a newspaper from our drop-down. These are all the newspapers that we have subscribed to. So we're going to select that one. And we need to add a new date. At the moment there's no total to this because we haven't added a date. Click here on the calendar. We're going to run that on Friday. And you'll see now that the price has come in here. And you have to point out to the families that this is an estimate. This isn't written in stone by any way, shape, or form. It's an estimate of what the price is going to be for this newspaper insertion. And we want to add a new date because we want to run it for 2 days. So we'll select the Saturday as well. So see, we have those 2 days with our total at 120. And we want to add a newspaper for insertion because we want to run it in a different local town. So we once again click our drop down for selecting a newspaper. We select that. Oh, wrong newspaper. So I'm going to remove that one. I'll go back here again. And I want to add a new date. I select my date. And once again, I want to have that run 2 days. So we have our 2 newspapers. The first one is at 120. The other one is at 126.64 for the 2 days. And we're happy with that. We'll click Save. Now, as I mentioned, we do have the copyright notice that we're going to attach to all of ours. You can read through this at your leisure. But it is a copyright notice to the newspapers that we own all the rights to this obit. And to anyone else who may just want to scam it for their use, you do have some recourse there. So we go back up to summary approval. What this is going to do is give you an example of what the obit's going to look like in the newspaper. Here it will have the obit. Here it has the cost. And down at the bottom is the disclaimer stating that the family has read through this, everything looks good, they're very happy with it, and they sign. So that if for some reason the newspaper mixes it up and the obit's not printed properly, you have this form from the family stating that, yes, it was perfect when you sent it over, so you're not liable. The newspaper has to either make the refund or make the retraction or what have you, whatever they have to do with that. You can print the summary authorization form. That'll come up as a pop-up. And there you see you get your PDF. A little easier for you to see what this is. So you would print this off and the family could sign on it. And then you're covered. So once everything's good and ready to go, you can click on Submit to Papers. This comes up, once again, with the totals on here. And all you do is click Email Submission. And then once again, we'll go Email Submission. Now, when you do send that, you do get a notification that your email has been sent. This is actually what the newspaper is going to receive. And you'll say, please insert the following death notice into your newspaper. So the funeral home details are all included here. If they have any questions, there's a number to call back. Insertion details has the newspaper name, the dates for insertion, and please insert the following text as the death notice. There's the obit right there. And we ask for a receipt confirmation. We say, please click this link to confirm with the funeral home that you have received this notice. So they will click that to let you know that we did get it, we've got the obit, we're going to run it, everything's all set. And there's our copyright notice that was attached to it. So that's what the newspaper receives when you do click on that Submit to Newspaper. Should you have any questions on how the notice compiler works, please contact your project manager or send an email to support@frontrunner360.com.